welcome to our Chamber Advocacy podcast. We're so excited to have another legislative podcast with some really wonderful guests. And William Morgan, who's our chair of Advocacy at the Chamber. Thank you, William, for being my partner in crime on these.
Absolutely. Thank you. I feel like the end of the bread, and this is the meat in the sandwich here. As everyone is aware, the Chamber represents businesses in the Statesville and surrounding areas, and every year puts together a legislative agenda. And very briefly, there are four different components of that legislative agenda. Economic development, to foster an environment that creates a competitive advantage and allows the community to thrive in a very diverse, growing, healthy economy. The infrastructure is always important. Education, drive innovation and resourcing of the education system, and innovation to advance and promote new and diverse business growth. So today we have with us, I guess it was 3 weeks ago that we did a meeting with and invited all of the chamber members to hear from the chair of the county commission, Melissa Neader, and good morning, and the county manager, Beth Mull. So they are with us today, and I thought it would be good for you to kind of bring us up to speed as to, number one, what's going on in the county. As we all know, you just got through budget season, and you're still standing. Congratulations.
Happy New Year.
And where that goes. And then ultimately, what's going on that will affect and impact the businesses here in Iredell County.
All right. Well, thank you for having us this morning. It gives us an opportunity. A lot of times we feel like that our message is not always understood. However, there's a lot going on. There's never a dull moment in the county. And one of the biggest things that I want people to realize that electeds and staff need to work together. A lot of times we will participate in whether it be clubs or whether it be school visits. I will bring Manager Mull with me and show that we have to work together, and we also share the same information with our other board members as well to be able to make sure we have all the information before we make any decision on that one too. So Manager Mull, where would you like to kick it off this morning? What's on, I believe we said economic development.
Sure, start there.
Okay, great. Well, let's talk a little bit about that and one of our most important partners in the county, which is our Iredell County Economic Development Commission.
Yes.
Jen Bozer and her group do a great job helping us with business recruitment, retention. Retention, that's key for us. That's a big deal because they're already part of our community. They're a great corporate citizen, our existing businesses and industries, so we really make sure that we concentrate on being supportive of our existing businesses and industries, because if they can grow and thrive in our community and expand, then they're us. They're part of us. They're already here. They have roots. So, we make sure that we have a division through our Economic Development Commission, which they focus strictly on retention, going out and talking to our existing businesses and industries. What are your challenges? And quite frankly, we learn a lot about recruitment because we try to recruit their suppliers and things of that nature. So, which makes business easier for them and saves them with logistical costs and things of that nature. So, if we have a large industry that's here, they'll go out, talk to them and say, who's your biggest supplier? And then if they're looking to expand, we'll go reach out to them and try to encourage them to make Iredell County their home. So that's important to us that we have a good, strong, diversified tax base because it's cheaper for us to provide services to those businesses and industries than it is residential. And you talked about the chamber meeting, and that's one of the slides that we showed at that meeting. We actually lose money providing services to residential citizens, but we make money providing services to businesses and industry, and then agriculture and open land. We make money with that. So we have to have that good complement. So that's why economic development is so important. Plus, we want to be the preferred county to live, work, and raise a family. We want you to be able to do it all right here and have good quality, high-paying jobs. So that's a big focus.
It is
with the Board of Commissioners.
And we've had a great amount of success over the last couple of years with
and it's very diversified.
Doosan Bobcat, Sharon Williams, and some pretty large announcements. North Carolina for the second year in a row was named by CNBC as the best state in the nation to do business.
Yes.
And Site Selection Magazine, the same thing. So, and we're happy to be a part of that.
Absolutely. So,
and we work well with the chamber on a lot of these events as well, because obviously our paths will cross and we'll be at the events. And the other piece is too, the EDC works with smaller businesses as well. So if you're thinking that it has to be a huge hundreds of employees, not necessarily. They were working on some individual entrepreneurship
Absolutely.
initiatives and opportunities with that as well. And I know Chamber recognizes smaller businesses as well. So it's key. Work with a little bit of everybody on that.
One of the things that I've heard attracts industry and individuals to Iredell County is our tax rate.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's not always necessarily a badge of honor, but in this case, it seems to work. Talk to us a little bit about that and how you came up with where we are for the next fiscal year.
Absolutely. Well, our fiscal year starts July 1st, so that's why I said Happy New Year. We just started a new year starting July 1st. So our tax rate was 53.75 cent per 100. With the reappraisal that we just went through, we were able to lower that tax rate to 50 cents, an even 50 cent per 100 valuation. That's important. It's great to have a low tax rate, but you also have to have that delicate balance. Because when you have a low tax rate, it really encourages a lot of people to move into your county, which is a great thing to have, but keeping up with that growth is very difficult, especially for the municipalities and the county. Providing schools, that is a very expensive venture. So as your residential population grows, you have to build schools. You have to have a facility to educate those children, and it's on the county to provide those facilities.
Yeah.
The municipalities, they have to provide water and sewer, road infrastructure with partnership through DOT. So all of that, as you're growing, and we are a very fast-growing county, as you're growing, you have to try to keep up with that growth. So, we have worn that badge of honor being one of the lowest tax rates in the state. There's 100 counties in the state, and we have been one of the lowest tax rates. We've been like the 14th lowest in the state of North Carolina, and that has really gotten us a lot of attention, and a lot of people have moved in, and now we have growing pains. So one of the things that we looked at, and one of the challenges that the board they give great direction, which is really good for a manager when you have a board that's very clear in their direction. They said, in this budget, we need you to come up with a plan for several different things. One of those, it's a reappraisal year, so we want to roll the tax rate back some. But we have some school needs that we've got to address, and you've got to find a way to financially take care of that. Not just the Weathers Creek High School, the new high school that everybody's talking about, but also we already know there's an elementary school need that's there. So we have to start planning for that. So what we ended up with was going out and borrowing another $40 million to put towards the Weather Creek High School project, which takes that total up to $120 million. And then we're setting aside $10 million this year, and we plan to set aside $10 million next year and start setting aside money for that elementary school, which means we won't have to go out to a bond vote of the citizens and ask for that tax rate to go up. We're going to try to address that through the reappraisal and roll the tax rate back to 50 cents per 100.
I want to say that's just remarkable because the bond that we did a few years ago, has it been 3 years?
It was
2020.
Yes, 2020.
So it was for $80 million school. And if you've, been under a rock, you would know this. The cost of construction rates have gone up. So that bond doesn't pay for a high school. So that's why you're having to come up with creative ways to meet the need of.
But here's the problem. We still didn't come up with the full amount that the schools requested because they came back in April and asked for $200 million for that high school. And we just could not come up with $200 million. So we came up with 120. We've got the $80 million bond that was approved. And then we're going to go out and borrow, and we're going to do the debt service on the additional 40 to put with it, which gives them 120 million to do that school.
Hopefully they can get it done.
Hopefully.
And
we'll
another
have
piece
to
with
see.
that budget is balanced too, making sure that if, since we went with that 50 cent per 100 value, we've got to make sure that's sustainable for very far into the future, not just 1 year.
Right.
So, and that's achieving it.
That's key. I mean, when we set a tax rate, the goal is not to have a tax rate that fluctuates up and down every year.
Consistency.
So in a reappraisal year, we plan for 4 years. So when we set that tax rate, the plan is we need to live on that for the next 4 years to get to the next reappraisal. So that is something that's very important, and we have to think 4 years down the road, at least at a minimum. Our capital improvement plan is an 8-year capital improvement plan. So we're thinking 8 years out with our capital improvement projects.
Sure. And one of the benefits of having the facilities that we have and the lower tax rate is we attract more and more people here. But that also is problematic because now we have to create and provide more and more services.
Correct.
And there's some disconnect between the county and the city as to what the city provides and what the county provides. And I think one of the biggest misnomers is that the county is responsible for the roads.
We get calls about that. We get calls about
Where's
that.
that pothole? Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We get calls and ask, like, we just do not do the roads.
And and that's actually legislative.
It
so
is.
general
Right.
statute says the county does not own or maintain any roads. That's either the North Carolina Department of Transportation,
Right.
a municipality, or it's a private road.
Sure.
But the county, by North Carolina general statute, by law, does not own or maintain any roads. But we get calls about them on a regular basis.
We are one of the top, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the top 10 fastest growing counties
Yes.
in the state.
Yes. We
And you say the capital projects are looking out 8 years. But if that continues and that trend continues and more people move here and they have small children, obviously we're going to need more and more schools. So you've got the high school issue. You've already said there's an elementary school on the table. What's beyond that?
They're telling us another middle school is right behind that elementary school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And this is just Iredell Statesville that we're
Not
that we're
even
here.
more
No.
still graded.
Right.
Mooresville, they do have a plan for some of their facilities, but they're growing as well. So we're going to have to get really creative how to address these school facility needs going forward if we continue to grow at the rate that we are.
Sure. Switch gears just a minute. One of the things that site consultants look at when they're working with a company to relocate or to move into a different part of the state or a different part of the country, they have their checklist, and they're looking for utilities, they're looking for infrastructure. They're also looking for quality of life. And you've done a lot in the past budgets and in this future budget for parks, greenways. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
There's some great opportunity on that one. Jennings Park, top notch. Going to be a long time coming to be able to look at this. Originally, we talked about doing Jennings Park through a phased approach. However, the interest was there with the board at the time and moving forward to go ahead and do Jennings Park all in one. So that way it's going to be, the grading will be significantly less if we do it all at one time versus in phases.
True.
So that'll be soccer fields. You've still got the existing zip line. You're going to have baseball. No, so
Y'all
we're
got a grant
walking
for
cour-
that too. Wasn't there a big grant that came through? For
We received a grant for an inclusive playground, and I'm really
this
excited
is
about
so
that.
exciting about this opportunity.
And I
too.
don't know how many have heard about this, but our Parks and Rec staff went and applied for a grant for an all-inclusive playground, and that is an opportunity for children that may be in a wheelchair or something of that nature to be able to swing on a swing. And it's an all-inclusive playground for children with disabilities to be able to come and play. And you take for granted that all children can swing, but they can't. So this has a lot of different amenities to it that allows them to enjoy that playground just like everybody else. So I'm really excited about that. It will have walking trails. We're talking about all kinds of frisbee, disc golf. I say frisbee golf. That was wrong. Disc golf. Soccer fields, baseball
AstroTurf is
fields.
included in this
We're
as
talking about doing some turf fields so we can have continual play on those. So, and that's a park in the northern end of the county. And we just closed it, getting ready to grade. So don't go to Jennings Park right now because we're going to start grading
We're
everything.
doing a groundbreaking over there. Is it next week?
It's next week.
Next week.
Yep.
Yeah, like
So,
10 o'clock.
So we're really excited about that. And, we learned a lot about quality of life and how deficient we were in our parks and greenways when COVID hit. When all the gyms closed and everything closed down and there were very little things that you could do. You could go and walk on a nature trail or you could go outside and recreate. We didn't have enough of that for a county our size.
Right.
So that was one of the things we looked at and thought, okay, we need to step it up. So this board has really been conscious of that and trying to make sure that we're providing good quality facilities. That's what we should be doing is providing good facilities for our public to use, for our citizens to use.
Even for a birthday party, family reunions. I mean, it's like
But those are
opportunity.
things people look at when they're moving here too, whether they're moving as a family or their company is coming here. They look, quality of life is high on that list.
Stumpy Creek is always busy too.
Yeah,
on the
and
southern end.
one of the other initiatives that we're doing, we're actually partnering with Mecklenburg County, and town of Davidson, town of Mooresville, they have all kinds of greenways, bike paths, but there's a section in Iredell County where they don't connect. So we're looking to try to connect all of those bike paths and greenways where you can go from Iredell County all the way to Mecklenburg County.
Nice.
And have those options available. And those are things that, there are grants available. There are regional grants that are available if you can partner with your neighbors. And we're fortunate in that. We have good neighbors that we can partner with to do things like that.
That goes to transportation too.
It does. Yes.
We like to think that we're Iredell County and we've got a wall around Iredell County, but in fact, we're part of a bigger region. The Central Carolina Council of Governments, Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization. I know when I was involved a little bit more, we were working on getting a streamlined transportation system from Statesville to Charlotte. We have that, and a lot of people don't realize that. And of course, it's not necessarily the most efficient, and I know that there's been some progress in working to make it that way.
Right. And it's kind of one of those things that you talk about transportation, but we're the only county in the state of North Carolina that has 9 counties that touch us.
Yes.
9 counties. Well, think of all the transportation networks that need to communicate with 9 different counties around us,
That's a lot.
which
A lot
is
of
one of the
major roads.
reasons that our commissioners said, hey, we're not in the transportation world. We don't do roads, but we need to have a transportation master plan and an idea of how all of these roads around us connect. So the board did that,
did.
which is important. So when DOT comes and looks, and they say, hey, you've got this request for a road, how does it connect with everything else?
Right.
We've got that plan where it connects Statesville's roads with Mooresville's, with Troutman's, with Union County, with Yadkin County. How do we get from one place to another? So
And now with all these large distribution centers too, that's the biggest thing, is ensuring that there is an opportunity for them to locate as close as they can to the major thoroughfares. And that's because you don't want weaving and winding the larger trucks. It's
Right.
imperative to be closer to the interstates.
and that's location. Look at where we are with 2 major interstates
Right.
that intersect in our county. I mean, we are in the right location, but we need to make sure that we can capitalize on that and that we can use that and grow from that and expand that and do it in a managed way.
Yes.
Sure.
I laugh all the time. I think Iredell County's flower is the orange barrel because I see them all the time and they never go away.
They're always in season.
They're always in season and they never wilt and they're still there. But I'm hoping one day our flower will change to something other than the orange barrel.
I will never look at those the same way again.
I know.
Beth.
Every time I drive by, I was like, oh, there's Iredell County's flower. So,
I mean, it's exciting though too because we need the infrastructure complete so we can work with all especially the distribution and logistic companies that are finding their way here.
And a lot of times people don't realize the amount of time that our farmers are on the roads, seasonally especially, but getting from field to field.
Oh yes.
Navigating the larger equipment from place to place too. So that's a part of our agriculture too, supporting that and keeping them safe.
and that's interesting. Most people don't realize Iredell County is the top in the nation with dairy production. We are the #1 dairy producer in the state of North Carolina, Iredell County. I mean, agriculture is huge in our county.
It is, right. And it's a big industry for North Carolina in general.
Oh, absolutely.
It is.
Definitely.
Well, in the short amount of time we have left, you've done fantastic work with, again, what's happened in the past and what you're planning. What keeps you awake at night?
The balance of ensuring that we can take care of our citizens the way they should. Our emergency services, having the people fill our positions. We need paramedics. We need to have EMS to be able to respond. We need additional staff. Safety is #1 and keeping our folks taken care of. And if you know that you can take care of everyone. At this point, though, we have the apprentice program. You're working on that one.
We do.
Find unique opportunities too. And one of the times we were speaking in a high school together, had an opportunity to recruit some high school students.
I was
for
so
that.
excited.
It is.
Yes.
It's-
Got
and
three
community
recruits
connections.
for our apprentice program at one of the high school classes we
Are
taught
you using NC apprenticeship?
We are.
Oh,
yes.
wonderful.
We're partnering with them, but we, Iredell County has to do things creatively and different. So that's our model, but we've kind of customized
Sure.
it to be what we need it to be, which is great. And we have several different apprentice opportunities that are available
Oh,
It is.
That's great.
So,
that's,
you know,
that's the
if we-
future apprenticeship.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know,
Internships.
why not? Because, you know, we have wonderful, you know, kids in our county, and some of them are going to graduate and they're looking for a job. Why can't we be that employment opportunity for them?
Right.
I mean, why can't we keep our knowledge and our best and brightest here in Iredell County? So that's what we're trying to do.
So last month we, so y'all know we kind of toggle back and forth between education and workforce development issues. And last month we had Jim Bozer on and we talked about Iredell Ready because y'all were a major
Right.
contributor to that,
Right.
which is wonderful to keep that program going. And it's getting ready to launch in September. It's been a long process, but what you're talking about encompasses all of that. It's like how do we keep our talent here? How do we find talent to come here? And where is everything? Where do you go to find all this
Right.
stuff? And I mean, that's like a really base description of Iredell Ready, but it's going to be a real game changer, I think, for all of us to help,
I do too.
you know, to help bring all that stuff together so people can see what we have, what we need, and where to find it all in one place.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Awesome.
Well, thank y'all again for your time.
Our
Thank you
pleasure.
for all you do.
Yeah.
A lot of it is not thanked enough, so we appreciate you for your
We're
work.
pleased to have the
So,
opportunity to serve them.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.